Greetings from the Jazz Cloud. I'm Richie Zellon, and in this lesson I'd like to teach you a chord melody arrangement of Green Dolphin Street, featuring some impressionistic harmony, a walking bass line, and some cool Afro Cuban Montunos. Coming up next. Welcome back to the Jazz Guitar Channel, and if this is your first time and you want to learn everything you can about the art of playing jazz guitar, I want to encourage you to subscribe and be sure to click the bell icon so you won't miss a thing. Today's chord melody arrangement is somewhat at the advanced level, but I will show you some alternatives to the more complex sections, so if you're at an intermediate level, you can also learn it. And the most complex part of the arrangement I consider to be the Afro Cuban Montuno, when the theme is introduced. This is a well-known concept usually employed by pianists in Latin music, and it incorporates a syncopated bass line known as a tumbao played against the montuno, which is like an arpeggiated sequence. Now, what makes it tricky is that the lines require a lot of independence, especially rhythmically speaking. And we will be transitioning from a swing groove to a Latin one. But instead of trying to describe it, let's listen to the entire arrangement, and after that I will proceed to break it down and further explain these concepts as I teach it. Here it goes. Before I start teaching you this arrangement, I want you to know that you have the option to download a special package from my website that will make it easier to study and learn. And this is available for a very small contribution, which helps support my efforts in preparing these lessons. And the download includes a 5-page PDF with regular notation and tablature, an MP3, a band-in-a-box file, and a MIDI file. And if you have the software, these last two allow you to slow down and loop the arrangement. So I will put a link in the info section down below for those interested. Next, I will teach you the arrangement in slow 2 to 4 measure segments. As usual, I will place an index to the different sections of this lesson and the info section down below, so that when you are studying, you can directly go to each teaching segment without having to watch the entire video. So the intro uses some impressionistic harmony in a rubato style, and that means that you want to play with the time. You want to kind of like stretch the time. And it starts like this. Let me play the first couple of measures, very slow. And then it goes on to measure number 3. Let me play 3 and 4. Measures number 5 and 6. You hold that last chord for a few seconds, and then we go into the A section, and this is where we have the Afro Cuban Montuno over the first 6 measures. Normally it sounds like this, along with the tumbao, which is the bass part. If we break it down, just the Montuno or the arpeggiated part is. And the bass part, which is the tumbao, is 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me play the first 2 measures, and don't worry if this is too complex for you. As I promised previously, I'm going to show you a simple alternative after I show you the original one here. So the first 2 measures, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then the next 2 measures are, we come up here to the 10th position over D minor, and it's measures 9 and 10. And then we go to measures 11 and 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and let me show you an alternative for these first 6 measures. Most of you know how to play bossa nova, so we can always exchange this and simplify it and do it as a bossa instead of an Afro Cuban Montuno style. So it would be starting at letter A, measure number 7. We go into the next section, which is going to be normal swing. But again, all I'm doing here is just keeping the same chord that we have for the Afro Cuban Montuno, but instead of doing the independent bass and the arpeggiation over the top notes, I'm just strumming. And then here, this is like the D minor 11 with the open strings. And then the 11th measure, the E2 with D in the bass. flat 2 with D in the bass, and we go on to measure 13. So here we're back into swing, or better said, we're going into swing for the first time. And what we're doing is measures 13 and 14. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're ready to go to measure 15, where we start with a walking bass line. Let me play measures 15 and 16 really slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're ready to move to measures 17 and 18. And we have a ongoing pedal here on the open D string. I might have played an A pedal too, which is an alternative. And we're moving on to measures 19 and 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we go on to measures 21 and 22. 2, 3, 4. And that takes us to the B section, and the first 8 measures of the B section are identical to the first 8 of the A section, so I'm not going to show them again. But just let me add something that I forgot to mention when I was teaching the original Afro Cuban Montuno, and that's the use of the clave. And the clave is very important in Afro Cuban music, and it denotes the main accents that the music is aligned with. And we have 2 kinds of clave in Afro Cuban music. We have the 3-2 clave and the 2-3 clave. The 3-2 clave goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And you can kind of think of Bo Diddley. And hand jive. And that's 3-2 clave. And it just so happens that the clave that we're using here in Green Dolphin Street for that Montuno is 3-2 clave. The other clave is the 2-3, which is the reverse, and it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I just had to add that in there because it's very important, and people who are familiar with Afro-Cuban and Latin music would have just killed me if I didn't demonstrate that. We're going to continue and end the B section with starting at measure 31, which is where the walking bass starts. And this time it goes like this. Let me play it real slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is followed by measures 33 and 34. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very similar to what we did in the intro, which is based on this section here. And going to measures 35 and 36. 3, 4. So we want to hold this last chord. The A7 flat 9, sharp 11 with the 13. And that takes us to the ending, which uses a little retardando. That's measure 37, measure 38, and the final two measures. You hold that there for a few seconds, and then you play this little arpeggio, measure 39. Hold that, and the final chord. Well, that concludes our lesson. I hope you enjoyed the arrangement, and as usual, I'd love to hear your comments and welcome any questions you may have. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, and don't forget to click on the bell notification icon so you won't miss my upcoming lessons. Have fun and see you in the next video.